Dubai is a city where pressure creates diamonds, where ambition is tasted daily, and only those with vision, discipline, and resilience last. Today we're in Dubai for a special edition of Born to Create, to share the story of someone who learned early to see value before others did, and always chose growth over comfort. While at university, he founded an import-export company during a time of high political tension under Barack Obama. Demand for Western products was enormous, but slow, blocked banking system made it nearly impossible to move money or to complete deals. He then discovered Ethereum white paper and immediately saw the potential of blockchain. When he tried talking about it, nobody believed him. Professor dismissed him, people called it a scam. So he acted in silence, trading Ethereum when it was only at $1. There were moments of panic, crashes that wiped out everything he had. But he had the strength to build and to rebuild. He made millions out of it. Now he's building SwipeX, an AI-powered trading platform designed to help people to trade safely, minimize risk based on everything he has learned from crypto. His intuition was always right. From the very beginning, he knew that what he was holding was gold. Ashkan Maniei, welcome to Born to Create.
Thank you. Happy to be here and grateful to be here.
Thank you for coming here. So let's start with the first question. At an early age, you started making money. And you have quite a funny story.
I would say I had an amazing grandma. My grandma was a very powerful woman and a grandma full of blessings. She basically ignited it unconsciously. She gave me some money to play with in an attraction park, and I went to the attraction park to use that money to play games and win prizes. However, for whatever reason, the prizes that I would pick were kitchen appliances or things women would buy. And I was a small, cute kid, so what I did is I went to the streets of Tehran, sat on the ground, and started selling these products. That was the first money I've ever made in my life, and I was at 7 years old.
From a young age, did you feel a responsibility of making money, or why did you start doing this?
That's a good question. I mean, I've seen my mom struggle all her life when I grew up as a kid. So I felt some kind of responsibility as a man to take over and help her out, yes.
So after you did some door-to-door sales as a teenager, how did you realize you were good at sales?
Well, I wasn't good at it in the beginning, I would say. I just did my best and I learned from it a lot, how to basically leverage psychology, how to understand people better, and how to, basically sales, door-to-door sales is an extremely hard job, specifically in certain areas in the Netherlands where as a foreigner you're not accepted. But it was a good challenge, and I like challenges in life, and it was more rewarding than any other job because you could earn by commission, not just a salary.
And to go back to the story, when you were winning prizes, you told me once that you sold some prizes at school.
Yes. So during my time in visiting Iran, once I played the attraction park, I was winning and then selling these prizes, winning, selling these prizes. And at the end of the line, I was like, hey, now it's time for a gift for yourself, reward yourself. So I got a BB gun and a laser. And ironically enough, I really love these products. And I thought my friends back home in Netherlands would love these products as well. So what I did is I leveraged all the money that I had and I went to buy a lot of them, filled up my suitcase full of BB guns and full of lasers and went back to the Netherlands. What I did is I started selling these in my elementary school to all the kids for 20 guildens a piece. Until the teachers found out, the moms and dads found out, and they got extremely angry at me and I got expelled for that. But I still had guns and lasers left. What do? I went to a different school, sold them. When I was out of stock, great. That is where it ended until my grandma came with a new stock. She was my supporter.
After your door-to-door sales, what did you do? Did you continue with other jobs?
So first money I ever made was from the attraction park game, basically winning prizes, selling the prizes. After that, from 7 years old until 12 years old, I didn't work. From 12 years old, I started being a gardener in rich people's homes. So I was the gardener, fixing their gardens up. After that, I switched to becoming a dishwasher. So I was a dishwasher for about a year or two. After that, I switched to IKEA. I worked at IKEA. And in between of IKEA, I also worked for IDNT, which is a massive festival company. But I just wanted to be at the festivals, but I was not old enough, so I just started working there. So I did IKEA, the festivals, and eventually I switched all of that to sales. From that moment, my life changed a lot because all the other jobs, you get paid by salary. You sell your time for money. The other one, sales, you can earn beyond time. And that was a true eye-opener for me. So I was basically leveraging that, maximizing sales in order to earn more money because I could earn more money. However, the Dutch tax system is in a bit messed up because the more you want to work and the more you want to earn, the more you get taxed. Mm-hmm. So eventually it demotivates you. But that was mostly my journey. And then there was after that period, I went back to university, started studying international business management, leveraged all the money that I had to pay for my books, to pay for my travels, to pay for everything because I didn't want any handouts from the government. Even though I could have gotten some handouts, but I just didn't want it. Just like when you pay for something, you appreciate it. So when I went to my university, I went to learn information, gain knowledge, and leverage that knowledge and information later in my life. That was my main purpose. And basically, in university, we ended up in the story of that I basically had to have either a job or because I switched from part-time to full-time, from full-time to part-time. When I made that switch, I either had to have my own job or a company. So I went to my mom, and my mom basically told me, Ash, you're my son. You're not working for anybody. Figure out a company to start. So I'm like, okay. Then I looked at the macro environment. Generally, I like to do that every time. I like to look at what opportunities are there. Not just what can you do, what opportunities are there really around you? Because I always say this, like you can sell ice cream in the winter, but it won't work. You got to sell ice cream in the summer. It's just a very simple saying. So I looked around and I saw like Obama's president. There's sanctions that are easing up with Iran. There's an opportunity there. So I started pursuing that path. I was like, okay, I understand Persian language. I understand the culture. I have some connections there. Maybe I can make something happen. So I started my own import-export consultancy firm. I didn't know anything about import-export consultancy. I didn't know anything about a lot of stuff, even like fixing the contracts or getting the deals done or anything. But I just did my best and I just figured out a way. You always just go, you figure out a way along the path. While doing that, I was very close closing a few deals. Sadly, none of the deals actually went through because the banking system was blocked. Import-export was extremely inefficient, but the banking system was also blocked. So it's like, okay, this is really strange. Obama is saying you can do business in certain areas and products, but the bank says no. So it's like, okay, I can't stand that kind of illogical, irrational behavior, I would say, from the banks or whatever. So I was like, I need to find a solution. That's when I kind of stumbled upon Ethereum white paper, and I was just amazed about Vitalik Buterin and what he wrote and basically the tech he was building. And then I tried to get some information, what other people's perspective on the matter was, that were smarter than me, that had a VC, that had a hedge fund, that were my university professors, were in logistics. What do you guys think about blockchain? What can we do with blockchain? Is there any interesting use cases within the blockchain space? But nobody listened to me. Everybody just neglected it, and everybody thought it was a scam. It was just whatever. What I basically did, I went to my mom, told my mom that, and my mom gave me some capital, basically got a loan from my mom, started trading myself up in the space because I didn't have any capital and I wanted to start a company in import-export automation through leveraging blockchain technology. But I wanted to do it with my own capital. So I just started trading the market nonstop with the loan that I got from my mom. And the loan that I got from my mom was under an agreement. We made an agreement that she's 50-50, we're 50-50 business partners. Second agreement is if I reach my financial goal before the end of the year, I don't want to hear anything of going back to the university. She says, deal. My friend said basically to me, Ash, put some more realistic expectations and goals. I'm like, this is realistic. This is what I want to achieve, and I'll work my ass off for it. So I basically cut off everybody out of my life, all the people that didn't believe in it, and basically everyone. So like in life, I think is like the most important thing you can do if you want to really get somewhere, cut off every single distraction possible. Like actually lock in. What I mean by actually lock in, that means there is no girlfriends, there's no boyfriends, there's no like life basically. There's no friends, there's no going out, there's no partying, there's nothing. It's you, your laptop, your room, 24 hours you have a day, maximize that. I worked 16 to 20 hours. In the first 9 months, it was 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I maximized that, and I just cut off every single distraction that there was. I would wake up 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m. every morning. I would meditate first, take a shower, drink my coffee, work until 11, 12, sleep, and repeat 7 days a week. In that year, that changed my life, because that's basically cutting off all the distractions and being laser focused on one thing and just going full force at it. That made me do 200,000% in 1 year. So I came from nothing, now I'm suddenly somewhere. I even overachieved my goals unexpectedly, but I overachieved them, which was a very interesting journey, I would say. But throughout the years, I've also been up a lot, down a lot, up a lot, down a lot. The year following that, in 2018, I started believing in blockchain because it became a hype. The bank started talking about it. Everybody started talking about it. And that's the moment that I kind of fell for it. I was like, shit, that might be the future. And now I have a good amount of money, capital within this market. It will probably go up more. But that next year, it taught me that that was not the case. And I lost 90 to 95% of that capital in the next years. But again, like, there was a period that I was depressed in that area. But like, it was like, you did this before with way less capital. You can do it again. Basically, don't be a pussy. Just man up. Like, there are people that, because like, when I took care of my grandma in Florida, I was in chemo center with a lot of people that were basically on their deathbeds. And these people, my personal honest opinion, they were happier than some very wealthy people that I've met and very successful people that I've met. And that makes you wonder that these people are more grateful and appreciate life more than the other people that are wealthy, successful, have everything for them. They have their health, most importantly. So I was like, Ash, you still have your health. Everything is fine. You lost a lot of money. Sure, you're young. You can do it again. If you did it once, you can do it again. So I've rode that roller coaster for years in, years out, and now it's time to build. So that's why I built Safei and SwipeX.
How did you stay confident when everybody told you, oh, it's a scam, oh, you shouldn't spend too much time on it?
That's like actually really funny. So like the moment I kind of messed up there, because there was Ethereum's first pump, it went up quite a lot, and then it dumped. And I would, like, when it went up, I called my mom, I made a lot of money, go shopping, whatever. I was happy. And then it went down. It basically crashed again. And then like in that crash, I panic sold. And that was the lesson that I learned. I'm like, never again. Like before, I didn't trust myself with Ethereum, but I still went into it. And then it went up and down, made some money still. But like after that moment, there was just the realization that actually anything anybody calls a scam, double look or triple look into it, because there might be a real big opportunity. People call stuff that they're afraid of or hesitant of or don't understand generally a scam or bad or whatever. Yeah, but that's their fears. That's their ignorance. You should never allow that to be part of your life. You should use your own critical thinking to see what's going on exactly in that. So that's how I pursued that. And then the next time was my entire like investment thesis was layer ones. Anything that anybody will ever call scam, I would really dig into it, like really and analyze what is going on there. Is there an opportunity? Maybe there's an opportunity.
So can you tell us the story about when you got robbed?
Yeah, sure. I can't laugh now about it. I mean, back then I laughed a little bit. I generally like to laugh pain off. But like this was in 2013. It was a very, I would say, rough moment of my life. Probably one of the roughest moments of my life. One of them, not the roughest, because that came later. But it basically, my mom was a very amazing mom. All my life, she'd allowed me to be a boy and live my life and have friends, have fun, go out, do all the activities that I like to. And there was eventually that period where kind of like that mind shift came. That's when basically there were a few guys that robbed our house. We lost everything that we'd had. And my mom wasn't even at home. She was at her business basically working that day. I came home early from university and I saw the doors basically broken. Everything was gone. Everything was trashed. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to tell this to my mom? It's like when she comes home, she's going to be devastated. So basically, my mom came home. She fell on the ground crying. And I mean, at that moment, like I had to go from being a boy to becoming a man because I had to take the responsibility. And I told my mom, listen, whatever we lost today, it's whatever. It's painful, but maybe part of life. We're still healthy. We still have each other. And I'll promise you, I'll make 1,000 times more of what we've lost. I didn't know how, but this is the promise I made. So after that, I went on a 4-year trip, basically, which was purely personal discovery and personal development in all areas of life. Because Jim Rohn likes to say, your personal development will never exceed your net worth. So, and that quote stood by me. And I basically went on this 4-year trip, personal discovery, personal development, in order to gain knowledge, accumulate knowledge, and be able to use that somewhere down the road in my life. I didn't know where. That somewhere came in 2017, 2016, 17 with crypto. That's when I saw that opportunity. I'm like, this is the time. This is what you've trained for. These last 4 years, this is it. So that's why I dropped out of my uni. That's why I went full force for it.
And after this major crisis, how did you find the strength? Was it always in yourself?
I mean, me and my mom, we've always struggled throughout life, all our life. My entire family has. So it's nothing new to me. It's like I've seen my mom like work multiple jobs, study at the same time, take care of me. How we travel throughout the world. She escaped from Iran to Japan, to Ukraine, to Cyprus, ended up in Netherlands, a woman with no money, no English, no Google Maps, nothing, no internet, hell, like you're just traveling. And like if you see that as a kid, I think it just like gives you a different perspective of life. If she's that powerful, anybody can be that powerful generally, but like we generally could be basically some people grow up in very soft environments and become extremely soft themselves. If you see that more from a hard environment, I think that's a different perspective and a take on life. So for me, if you see that all your life, for me it was just normal. It's nothing new. It's just like struggles are part of life. And the harder you fall, I mean, that's another thing. Like when I was like down on the ground, you can't really go deeper than that. You're on rock bottom. Only thing you can do as well is just look up. Like there's no more down. Okay. Sometimes it's actually a liberating feeling, losing everything you have. Yeah. Because there's nothing more to lose except for your health. And again, that's the most critical one. Don't lose your health, focus on your health, and money can always come and success can always come as long as you work for it and sacrifice for it.
And during your monk time,
yeah,
if you can call it this way,
yeah,
you put a bit your health aside.
Yes, correct. So yeah, I mean, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week eventually took a toll on my health, on my physical health, but also on my mental health, which the last one I was unexpected because I came from nothing and I've been always a happy guy. Anything in life that would happen, I would just laugh it off, whatever. Yeah. But like at that moment, it's just like the smallest things would happen after that 1 year. It's just like, and it would mentally get to me. The other component was my physical health. I mean, like I was 80 kilos when I started my journey. At the end of my journey, I was 60 kilos. When people would see me on the street, they thought I was sick. But that was a part of life. Sometimes, I think everyone has done this before in the past. Everyone sacrifices their health for wealth. And then to realize back then, oh, I need to focus on my health again. And this is a very common thing every single human on this planet generally does and goes through.
And how does this period transform you?
How did that period transform me? I mean, financially, it was a big transformation. Physically, it was a horrible transformation, but eventually I changed that again. Other than that, I mean, like all of these like everything all combined, it's just like what's few things that I've learned in general is just like the life swings in a pendulum. So some people in life have a very stable pendulum, and this you can choose for. Sometimes it's unchosen. Life pushes it for you. So some people swing like this from left to right, very balanced. Yeah. And then suddenly something very bad in their life happens and they're on the very left pole. And then something really good eventually will happen. But they can't see that when they're here, or they can't see that when they're here, right? Just like life for everyone is like that. So whenever there is an extreme period of, let's say, a storm, there's always going to be sunshine and rainbows at the other side of it. Yeah. But you just have to, the only thing we lose actually is time. If we fall down and we stay down, that's the only thing that matters the most. How do you manage yourself when you're down there? Because the faster you get up and you go again, That's how you get again further in life. Otherwise, you're stuck. You're losing time, and that's the most important, critical part one, right?
And with cryptocurrency,
Yeah.
it's quite volatile. How do you manage the stress?
Oh my God, that's like my friends have asked me that so many times. The ones that understood the full context of everything. It was very hard, I would say, in the first years. Extremely hard because I was all in crypto for many years, and I've seen my portfolio grow and crash like 3 or 4 times at least with 90 to 95%, and grow exponentially from 200,000%, then down 90 to 95%, then up like 20, 30,000%, then down 90%, then up like 5 to 10,000%, then down again 90%. And again, you get the point. This has happened like multiple times over. How do you deal with that? I mean, the more money, the more problems you have. It's just like one part of it, but it's also very, very bad to think about it like that though. But like, because it's been like very big movements in that area, and it's not normal in every single sense for most people in the world. But like some people, they hold large amounts of assets in general, and their portfolio swings are huge too. But crypto is just like next level, I would say, like next level. How did I handle that? I mean, in the beginning, every single crash mentally got to me. Every single crash. The 2008, 18 one, 2000, what is it, 21, 2022 one, 2000, that's pretty much it. And we have one more. But like every single crash has gotten to me mentally. But it just like, the first one, I was on the ground longer periods before I stood up again. And then the next one, I was on the ground a little bit shorter. And the next one, I was on the ground a little bit shorter. So basically, throughout these experiences, I just learned like, hey, when you like falling throughout life or failing in life is inevitable. But again, the only thing we lose is how much time do we spend when we're down on the ground. We should get up very quickly and move again so we can make changes again. So that's the primary lesson that I had. And other than that, mentally, right now, any portfolio swing is like I'm not fazed by any of it. I'm numb. After being in crypto for 9 years, you become numb. Like literally become numb, especially if you've been all in for many years and you've seen these swings. It just becomes normal for you and you become numb to it, for better or worse. I'm not sure, but like that's what happened. And other than that is like I am striving now for something completely unrelated and different out of the crypto market, which I'm very happy of. Because like the products that we're building are AI native financial operating system or SwipeX, the Tinder for trading. These products are completely for me. I'm focused on building value for society so I can help people's life forward. And at the same time, we will create wealth out of it. So I have, even though like my portfolio burns and crashes right now, I'll still basically strive to make that happen. So it's like, seems like, it feels like some kind of security net, but it's not actually. It's double risk if you think about it, because I'm still quite exposed in crypto. At the same time, I'm investing in myself, fully bootstrapped, no investors on board. I'm burning cash on basically crypto has been going down. And at the same time, I'm burning cash here. Yet, c'est la vie. If life ends up like that, I'll go to an island, I'll call it a day. Like really. If you think like that, that perspective is like, if you already start with like a fear mindset, like of like, hey, I'm burning money, I'm losing money, and that fear mindset, you can never get anywhere. You can do anything. So it's like whatever happens in life, whatever happens. That's another thing I think from for me personally, when I had nothing, I've always had deep inside of me a feeling no matter what, everything will be fine. Because I can live a very simple life and be happy as long as I'm healthy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can live alone, have nobody around me, have a simple life and be very happy. Yeah, because I get joy out of learning information and knowledge. That's like literally, and that's free. Yeah, so it's like nobody can take that from me. I can always go to an island somewhere and do that all my life and be happy.
And as you said, sometimes you were really down.
Yeah.
So you always managed to get back up.
Yes.
So you like taking risks. No?
Yes, correct. No risk, no story. That's like just a fact. Like a life without risk is just a life not worth living. No, seriously, it's not. For me, it's not. Like for me, like, I mean, like not taking a risk, actually, that was very funny. I have a doctor friend of mine, he said this. So he always said like, sometimes not taking a risk is the biggest risk ever. And I'm like, that's genius. I agree with that. I live my life like that. Because sometimes like in my life when I was younger, I couldn't make any decisions, right? And I was stuck in indecision. And indecision is basically not taking that risk. And making a decision, you get at least a feedback loop of information, what you learned from, and you can grow from that. Otherwise, you cannot grow.
And so you talked a bit about Safei and
Yeah.
SwipeX. Can you tell us a bit about it?
I've been a trader, investor now for, 9 years. And in these 9 years, I've learned a lot of information and I made a lot of mistakes. I went through a lot of failures and pain, and I've seen a lot of things that I thought, hey, this could be done better for people generally once I learned them. So what I wanted to do is actually kind of like apply all of the lessons that I've learned throughout the last 9 years. As you will, you could say it, upload my brain, connect that to LLMs, and then be able to offer that as a scalable service to the world. Safei, in essence, is an AI native financial operating system that can translate or transform natural language into full trading and investing workflows. That means from research analytics, portfolio management, risk management, orders and execution, and monitoring. So it's the full life cycle of trading in your pocket. What the current system, what it looks like right now, it's a reactive system. However, I am blessed with one thing. I can foresee a bit of the future. I think the future will be AI more being proactive, not just reactive to your basically input. What that means is it could be technically, it's for healthcare or finance, the same thing. It's going to be systems that can basically predict outcomes and based on that, mitigate the future risks. So imagine the Safei, for example, in the future, what I would like it to be is like, hey, miss, your crypto portfolio just went up 50%. You're a little bit overexposed. Would you like to reduce some exposure and move those to these top 10 best stocks? So then it can basically be a proactive system, and it's a smart system. That is what Safei is. Safei brings information into action into 1 to 3 minute workflow. What essentially sometimes would take hours or days or sometimes forever for people. They don't make any financial decision. What we give is you get like from going from intelligence into execution within 1 to 3 minutes. Then what we built from on top of that, basically from that backend, what we've leveraged is build another product because we saw that the consumer behavior not necessarily has to be a chat app for everything. It doesn't have to be. So from that, we leveraged the same backend and we built SwipeX. SwipeX essentially is same like Safei, but it brings that information to action or intelligence to execution into a 1 to 3 second swipe. And it's using the swiping behavior that everybody's used to with Tinder or dating apps or whatever. We use the same kind of behavior. And what the aim with SwipeX is, more than anything, is to mitigate all risks. So most people, when they make a trade, you buy something and you hope it goes up. That's your plan. That's not a plan. That's not a risk management plan, right? So there's like hope. What we do, we force you basically to have a trade plan. That means an entry, a take profit, and a stop loss. That's the first part of how we manage your risk without you understanding anything about risk management. The second part is we dynamically position size you. What that means is we understand the context of what your total account size is. Based on your account size, we understand what asset you're going to swipe on, and we can size you according to the volatility and the liquidity and the risk of that asset. The third is portfolio diversification. So you will have some swipes that will be cryptos, some swipes FX, some swipes commodities, some swipes indexes or equities. So you build a cross-diverse, basically basket of trades in different markets. So what you have when you do all these three components, we manage your risk fully without you understanding anything about risk management. You're just playing a game. Yeah, you're just swiping, playing a game. For you, it's interactive and fun. So a lot of people that have no idea about trading can get into this. And basically you could see it like it's their seatbelt in trading. It's their safety basically measure in trading, which it's very necessary. Like the crypto market the last year, there's been like, I don't know, at least like $50 billion in liquidations. Everybody has been liquidated at least once in these perpetuals, specifically the derivative contracts. And it's not okay. It's not good. Regulators should like mitigate that risk for retail, but they're not. So we built this product so we can mitigate that risk for people to help them out.
Right now you're in Dubai. Would you like to develop here in the Middle East?
Yes, 100%. Basically, I believe in a few things about the UAE. There's a reason like why I moved here. There's a reason why I found Ethereum or blockchains early. There's a reason why I moved here early. I even foresaw the real estate boom in Dubai before it even happened. That was easy, actually, the real estate boom. But like, so like, there's a thing in general in the world where I believe where we're at, there is very, let's say, the two sides of the world, US and China, have heavily conflict with each other. Yeah. For if it's real or fake, I don't know. But there's a heavy conflict constantly. Or it's Russia and the US, whatever. And you basically have the East and the West divided. Okay, what do you have? A place which is in the middle, which is the most neutral country ever, yeah? That is in between of the East and the West, where basically people that just want to do business, whether it's the Chinese or the Russians or the Americans, come in one place together and feel safe and trusted, yeah, to do business. That's the UAE for you. That's the only country in the Middle East right now that offers that. So I kind of saw that before it all happened, even the wars and stuff. It's very funny, actually. And then you saw the Russians fly in here, come here, move here, the Ukrainians, whatever. There's more Americans right now coming here because of the like closer ties with the UAE. So I saw like there's a massive opportunity here. And it is really because of the leadership of Sheikh Mohammed. He is a true leader of this country. He leads this country by example. And it's just a completely different ballgame compared to all the other like Middle Eastern countries. And that neutrality, that safety, that like, and I think for that reason, I think it's a hub which will grow for the next 50 years to come at bare minimum. And I think there are a lot of basically the financial hubs right now in the world are New York or whatever, Frankfurt, London, etc. But I do believe the best financial hub in the future could be Abu Dhabi and Dubai.
Okay. And because you're a visionary, let's call it this way, what do you think is going to be the next big step in the future? Maybe you see something that is going to happen.
Okay, let me think. So I have some predictions and some things. It's more related to tech, AI, the macro environment a bit. I would say I think we're on a trajectory to go towards the golden age. And it's not far ahead. I think maybe 10 years ahead, max. But for that to occur and for that to happen, you have to fall before you can rise. So you have to burn before you can be revived again. So I believe that in the next, 4 to 5 years, let's say from now, 4 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years, we'll reach to a certain point where AI will basically get better and better and better over time. We'll eventually get to the point of artificial superintelligence or artificial general intelligence. Once we get to that point, basically, because like AI will increase automation and it will increase basically people that are going to get unemployed. So you're going to see unemployment and automation increase at the same time. And it's going to be gradual, step by step first. And then there's going to be a point in time where basically that's once the AGI or artificial superintelligence is there, unemployment will skyrocket. We will see a 40 to 50% unemployment rate just out of nowhere. Yeah. And that will cause a radical shift in our current financial system, I think. I think we will see a massive crash in our capitalistic system. I'm not sure what the new monetary system will look like or what it will be, but it has to be something different because we're going to go towards an age of abundance where there's an abundance of services, there's an abundance of products. And once that abundance is there, everything is very deflationary and everything's very cheap. Everything is provided by robots. Yeah, this is like completely different world, and people need to basically educate themselves or basically do some new job, or there should be some new opportunities for people or something. So I think by 2029, 2030, we'll reach that point where we get to that crash. By basically timeline of 2033, I believe we'll go towards the golden age, and we'll reach to a certain point where humans will expand their health span and lifespan. I think 150 years to 200 years old is going to be a common norm in the next 15 to 20 years. So like I think that's definitely going to happen. But I see the future is very bright. But for that to occur, we need some pain in the beginning. And it's going to be a transition years, maybe 3 to 4 years, a typical cycle. And then after that, we'll go up in a golden age.
With Safei and SwipeX, let's get back to it.
Sure.
Where do you want to develop next? So you said in the Middle East. Is there somewhere else you would like to develop it?
Yes. So our goal with Safei, more than anything, is to eventually, you should see it as like an AI operating system that will, in down the road, what we want to achieve is basically be the connectivity layer which humans operate with all capital markets worldwide. So we don't want to necessarily be the one and only. We'll happily license our tech out to other stock exchanges in the world so people get more access and there's more inclusivity in finance. That's our end goal. So there's like, it doesn't end here. We would love to just be that tech layer for people to be able to use their natural language and transform that into their investing and trading workflows. So that could be New York, could be Frankfurt, could be London, could be Tokyo, could be Beijing, could be Shanghai, you name it. We don't see any discrimination across the board, but the goal should be is basically to be in every single financial hub in the world.
And now let's talk a bit about your team. How do you choose your partners and your team members?
That's a great question. So I'm a person, I make a lot of mistakes here. Yeah, and I'm happy to do it. So how I chose my current team, it's actually the first one came through a recommendation of one of my close friends. It started there. And from that, it was another personal recommendation of the person that he worked in the past with. And from there was another one. But like generally, like what I look for in their characteristics and traits is like, are they like actually here for the mission and the vision of the company, or are they here for money? Are they here for short-term gains, or are they here for a long-term partnership? Because that's what I'm offering. Even though some of my guys they started as employees, I offer them a partnership. I offer them equity in the company. And I believe a company should like there's a very interesting case from Ricardo Semler, Semco. He radically shifted and transformed an organization into fully democratic, fully profit sharing, and fully transparent. And these are the three key pillars that I really truly believe in. You know, sometimes it's not the best. You'll make mistakes because of doing all these things. Being fully transparent or radically transparent, sometimes you burn some bridges, but better you burn them early than late. So people show their true colors or faster that way. So the team that we currently have, we went from being like employees, that they were my employees, to becoming kind of like closer, like colleagues, and then eventually partners, and now it's a family. We go through everything together, and like when you go through the highs and lows together, people also truly show their face. Whoever is left is left. So it's like a very, I would say, trial and error, like anything in life. You cannot like judge a person ever from the beginning. You only learn by working with that individual, collecting the data that you've seen from working with that individual over time, and then basically you can make your own conclusion after that. And that's the only way, and especially throughout the worst times. Throughout very bad times, you learn people's true colors. That's it.
Are you today truly satisfied of your team?
Yeah, I love them.
Great.
I love my team.
Can we talk now about your object that you brought today?
Sure. Where did I put it? So this is the object I got.
What is it?
It's a coin. So there was a period in my life, again, I've said this before, but it was a period in my life where I was unable to make decisions. I was always overthinking, overanalyzing, overthinking every single situation. And that got me into making no decisions, which was extremely bad. Then I was like on my way to my university, and I found this coin. In the metro, or train station actually, I found this coin where I was about to buy like a train ticket. I found a coin. And I was like, Ash, you know what? This coin is a gift from God. It's just telling you if you can't make a decision, flip the coin, whatever you want, basically head or tails, go, and then you go for it, or you don't do it. That way you at least know, don't make the decision or make the decision, but it's going to be like very fast. Yeah. And I use that throughout my life, and it's been very fantastic, and specifically in that year, because in that year, believe it or not, I was flipping coin for investments. Sometimes I was going through it, I'm like, I couldn't make the decision. I'm like, okay, I'll flip the coin. And it worked out.
That was my question. Did it work out?
It worked out, yes. I mean, you win some, you lose some. Not all worked out, but like majority worked out.
And now looking back at your journey, what is one piece of advice you would give to the people watching?
Generally, like I would say, like in life, doesn't matter, like, but it really depends on what you want to achieve and what you want to do or what your goals are in life. But like everybody will have highs and lows. It's just a part of life. And during the lows, manage yourself faster, better. Don't lose too much time. Again, time is the most important critical factor, and health. Other than these two things, there's nothing that's more important. The rest you can always solve. You can always work harder. You can always do more as long as you have time and health. If you lose these two things, you lost everything you have. Yeah. So focus on your health more than anything. Go to the gym every day or at least 5 times a week. Work out, eat healthy, be healthy, because a strong body leads to a strong mind. And that's like one of the most critical factors. You need to be able to control your mind to get anywhere in life. And if you cannot control your body, you cannot control your mind. Unhealthy body, unhealthy mind. I think that is like really the key, because like even in that year that I said like I worked 20 hours a day, was it good or bad? For me, that year was good, but I lost my health, and because I lost my health, my physical health, I lost my mental health, and I was weak as a person. And that's like the most horrible place to be in. So my take in general is focus on being disciplined, being healthy, focus on basically mind, body, and soul. From there, everything else can follow, and you can do anything in life as long as you work hard for it.
So you made quite a lot of money. You made millions. How did it feel to finally win after all this struggle?
I mean, that's a very interesting question. So I came from nothing. I built myself up from scratch. And the moment I made a lot of money, I realized one thing. I'm very content and happy in life. I could have bought any car that I wanted, or fancy clothes, or a new house, or anything. I didn't care about any of it. So I found out, hey, I'm happy with the life that I live. I'm healthy. I have a great family. I have great friends. And nothing else mattered to me. That car that I wanted, I didn't want it, actually. The fancy clothes that I thought I wanted, I didn't want it. A little bit more comfort in life, sure. A good apartment, sure. But like other than that, all of the other things, once you get to a certain amount of wealth, I would say, or capital, it's like sometimes you think you want all these things because they're unapproachable or they're far away from you. But once you're there, you have access to everything. You don't really care about any of it anymore. So it's like, I love my bamboo shirts. It's just like very comfortable and it's good for the skin. Other than that, like I don't like the fancy brand names or all this stuff or showing off or any of that. That's just not me. Don't like that. I want people, again, what I generally like is that people respect you for who you are and what you have in your brain. Basically, your knowledge, your wisdom, what you've done for society, how you've helped people forward, not for what you have, showing off a fancy lifestyle, selling that to people. And I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known for something greater than that.
And do you still have like big goals because you achieved everything?
Yes. In terms of capital, like I would still like to get to a higher level of capital and wealth. That's for sure. But like, there's a very interesting, because like, I know I've been there before where I was extremely high in that area. And I'm like, my soul is not like stilled, let's say. And I know what my mission and vision, basically what my mission in life is right now. I learned it in ayahuasca and what my soul truly wants. So I will not rest. Even if you give me $1 billion today or $10 billion or $100 billion, I would still work. I would still do the same thing that I'm doing right now, because my mission in life is actually to help progress society and humans forward. At least be able to say, hey, I changed a million or 100 million or 1 billion people, their lives, with a 5% improvement or 10% improvement. Yeah, that's my end goal. If I make a lot of capital because of that, that's the most beautiful thing that I can after that say, you've done what you have basically came here for. So I wouldn't rest until then.
Were you satisfied with your lessons at university?
So here's the thing about university. I don't think anybody right now at this current age and time needs university. Information is free. The best teachers in the world, whether it's from MIT, Stanford, you name it, YouTube classes for free. You can follow anything you want, and you can learn anything you want. It's just like, do you have that will, right? And university, in my opinion, when I went to university, my full-time course was useless for me. My part-time course, I had fantastic teachers that I have learned from. But more than that, I also studied myself on YouTube. YouTube is the best university in the world. And it was the best gift for me in the world because I could go there, listen to the author of the book, and pause him and even accelerate 2x speed and learn much faster than I would in my university because my teacher would get tired after a few hours. That YouTube guy that's been teaching me, he wouldn't get tired for 12 hours. I could study for 12 hours. So was I grateful for university? Do I think it has some use? Sure. But in this day and age, I don't think it's end all be all. Specifically now in the age of AI, you can ask any question to AI, learn with AI, like anything. I had a teacher, I paid out of my own pocket to get to university. And basically also I paid for my own books. And then I come to the class, I travel for 2 hours to get there. I come to class and a teacher is reading the book in front of the class. And I'm like, at least you can like prepare the class. This is very disrespectful. I kindly asked her if this is the case, can I please just stay at home and study myself, the marketing course, and then I'll come back for the test and that's it. And she basically went to the principal and they tried to get me like expelled or some situation, some issue. And I'm like, this is so immature of these people. It's just like, I'm not here to argue with you. I respectfully ask this because you are not prepared when you come to the class. I take a lot of sacrifice to come there. So that just pissed me off.
You could have read the book at home.
Yeah, I could have read the book at home, but I went back home and just like Philip Kotler was on YouTube. You could just like listen to the guy himself.
True. And they're paid, these
Yeah.
teachers.
Exactly.
Okay, great. I think we can move to the last question.
Sure.
So the last question that we're asking to every guest that we have on Born to Create is based on your experience. Do you think entrepreneurs are born or made? I'll let you answer and you know what to do.
Question, born to create. I mean, I think personally, everybody is born to create something. Yeah, we're born to like shift society forward. Every single person on this planet. Otherwise, you're very selfish. If you just live life for yourself and don't provide any value to society, that's a very selfish life. I think everybody should create something, but that something could be anything. For some people, being a psychologist and helping people that way is the best thing ever. For some people, creating art and inspiring people through art is the best thing ever. For some people, it could be like being an entrepreneur and having your own business or being a trader and making a lot of money. But eventually, what are you going to do with that money? You have to re-diversify that money and push it back into society. So end goal for most people, I think, to make extraordinary amounts of wealth. If you want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, or whatever, if you want to make extraordinary amounts of wealth, eventually you want to get to a level where you can also make a big change and impact in the world. I think that should be the end goal, and it has been the end goal for a lot of people. But because like, what are you going to do with like tens of billions of dollars or $1 billion?